Like,
yeah.
that's I think what's being missed in the narrative. It's not about, I don't need them to shoot differently. It's the fact that if you as a team, if you're cold and you're not going to adjust to like getting stops, then what are we doing?
That's facts. That's facts.
Any final points on that before we go to Celtics Sixers?
No.
Nah, because actually, what I wanted to say about the Celtics Sixers is because what you brought up about the trapping and stuff. I was going to bring up with the Celtics Sixers. I think they did actually try that against Tyrese Maxey.
Because the Celtics, and that's why the Celtics are who they are.
Yeah, they're a good defensive team, and that's their best quality. But even then, he was still able to figure out and beat it. He used his quickness to get around.
Yeah, but then, look how hard he had to work, and then we got a really close game. And then that's the most entertaining. Watching a star player have to work hard to score. And watching the greatness of a player actually execute against good defense.
That's what made Kobe Kobe, man.
Exactly. The fact that he would hit 50 with 3 people on him.
Yeah.
I don't care about these 40-point games where you had 8 wide open 3-pointers. Like,
well, what you say, Alan? he was wide open. Devin Booker when he got that 70.
And yo, I be saying this.
They were blowing him out.
Those of y'all, hey, and this is
blowing him out. Nah, hold on.
Yo, shout out to those of y'all that tuned in to watch us on Twitch. You saw us in our debut in the Pro-Am. Trust, we're gonna get better, but you seen what we do in the rec. So we've mastered the playground. We're just getting ready to go pro, and there's gonna be a learning curve. But shout out to y'all that tuned in. But y'all know that I've been consistent on this point. I'm tired of watching us play against teams and they put up these great offensive numbers because of wide open shots. These guys are not nice. They're shooting wide open shots.
That's a fact.
And so either we need to defend these shots, or we need to find out how to get our shot profile to get wide open shots too. Because we're sitting here working hard as hell, scoring on defense, and I'm sitting here watching my matchup get 6 wide open corner threes on a fast break. No pun intended. Actually, no pun intended. That's a bar. Drop the bomb, Paul. That's nasty work.
Only people with IQ.
Tune in.
But no one wants to watch that. No one wants to watch a game of players all shooting wide open shots. The same problem with the All-Star game. No one wants to watch a game of guys shooting wide open shots.
That's whack.
I could watch a practice if I want to do that. I could watch a shoot around if I want to do that. I want to see guys make contested jumpers. That's the era of basketball I grew up on. Making contested jumpers.
You know, that's
jumping on people.
You know how many times I watch the NBA and I'm like, that's tough? 0.
I do see it, but those are the great games where I'm like, oh, this is tough. And this is one of those games. Let me set it up. Joel Embiid popped up from a pregame fall in the most ridiculous, goofy way I've ever seen.
Oh man, he cannot help himself, bro.
Just backing up onto people's feet. So he popped up from pregame fall and scored 27 points with 9 rebounds, making 4 or 5 from three-point range and sinking a pair of free throws with 3 seconds left to turn back Boston's final rally and lead the Sixers to a 118-114 victory on Wednesday. Tyrese Maxey, whose team it is, had 33 points and 12 assists. He scored 13 in the fourth quarter, including a quick trigger layup to open a 7-point lead with about a minute left after the Sixers inbounded the ball with 1.1 on the clock. Caleb Martin had the game of his life, scored 23 points, hitting 7 and 9 from three-point range. Jason Tatum scored, whose team it is, scored 32 with 15 rebounds for Boston. Jaylen Brown scored 23. Derek White had 21. Celtics center Kristaps Porzingis, who missed all but 9 games this season with injuries, did not return for the second half after he also goofily stepped on his own fucking foot and got an ankle injury.
It's been awkward, man.
Alan, this is your game. Break it down for me, and then let's talk about the quality of the game, which we've already sort of teased. So just give us a quick breakdown of what you saw in the game, and then we'll get back to what we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. This game was actually really good for me. I like this game a lot because I thought this was going to be the worst game on the slate.
High key. I
thought actually, like Andre said, I was with Andre, and I kept saying that this game's gonna be so whack because these guys didn't play together. Joel Embiid is about to be injured again. I really thought that, and then they said that goofy stuff in the pregame. But
did y'all see the video?
Yeah, I saw the video.
Oh my god!
What they say in the pregame?
You seen the coach? The coach was like,
he almost got injured. Yeah.
the coach.
Whoa.
It's like that old Kevin Hart joke when he said, "How Shaq falls." Oh,
That's funny.
get up,
Yeah,
get
it
your
was a
ass,
great
get up,
game.
get up.
I will say this, like bro, you just said it's Tyrese Maxey's team.
It
I don't
is.
know if I'm there yet, but
It's
he
not,
acted
bro.
like it for sure on Sunday or Christmas Day. I keep saying Sunday. On Christmas Day. The whole game, like I said before, the Celtics, who are the best defensive team in the league, tried to use their length against Tyrese Maxey, and he wasn't having it. He used his quickness. He had 12 assists that game, bro. Like Tyrese
Yes.
Maxey is evolving right before our eyes
And 3 steals, by the way.
He's becoming, yes, 3 steals. He's becoming the best player on the team. He's not there yet, but he's becoming that. And Joel Embiid needs to shape up because Tyrese Maxey is coming to take the team over. So what I liked about what the Sixers did is that they did not let the Celtics get their game plan off. The Celtics clearly was trying not to foul Joel Embiid. And so they just, like, whenever he tried to post up, they sent 2 guys at him, and they wouldn't rotate to a 3-point man, which is why Caleb Martin got 7 and 9. For the life of me, I can't understand why the Celtics just let that happen, because Joel Embiid did not.
Analytics.
Yes, that's the thing. Yes, that's the thing. They played the numbers, but I feel like at some point when you see this guy's on fire and making it, you adjust. Like
There's
I get that being your main game plan, but you at some point you adjust. But
They won a game 7 real quick, Alan. They won a game
Yeah.
7 because the Milwaukee Bucks refused to do that against Grant Williams when he turned into Grant Curry.
yes,
They said God bless him if Grant Williams beats us, and he beat
Yes.
you.
Yep. So playing the percentages is not always the best thing, but I was also gonna say like that's just part of the regular season at this point. We don't see real adjustments until playoff time, and I don't know if that's because the volume of games is too much to try to do that. So you just stick to one game plan at a time. But I digress. Yeah, they let Caleb Martin go off and make all these threes because he's not a great 3-point shooter, but he's capable of making them. So I couldn't for life understand why they just let them get that
He's
off.
7 and 9 good. I'll say that.
He couldn't be. He's no chump. And that's why for life I couldn't figure out like why rotate off of him. And Joel Embiid, he did a great job he recognized what they're doing, right? He recognized that they were trapping in the paint. So all he did was just face up and stand a little bit outside where they didn't trap him, and it opened up the floor a little bit. Maxey, like I said before, he did not let them trap him. They tried to ball pressure him up the court. He didn't let them do that. He is so fast. He's so strong. He's so good that opened the floor up and got mad people wide open. And I just think the Celtics got outsmarted by the Sixers, and I think that was a really good game. What we saw the Sixers finally kind of figure it out. We saw them at their peak, what it could be with all 3 guys on the floor, because that was the first time they played and finished the game together, or the third time, I think the broadcast said.
Yes.
So it was a game of matchups and using your strengths against a specific matchup. I think if the Celtics played them today, I think we see them do things differently. But overall, it was a really good game. And Tyrese Maxey came out and did his thing, man. And the theme of the Christmas Day games to me was the stars coming, stars and like fringe all stars that we talked about.
What the league needed their guys to show up.
Exactly. And that's what Christmas Day is about. Like I said earlier, like Christmas Day, I remember stars doing their thing ever since I was a little kid first watching basketball. I remember Christmas Day being about the stars going off on Christmas Day. And I think Tyrese Maxey did that. Kyrie Irving did that. Wemby did that. Mikal Bridges did that. And that's what the NBA needed on Christmas Day. And it was great.
Just to add on a couple more points before we get into the quality of the product argument that we already kind of started. Injury bug shows its head again. So that's a part of the quality of product as well. Things I saw that I liked. There was a 3-point cold streak. So the game almost descended into the nastiness we're talking about. But then, like you said, the trapping happened, which allowed for us to see some dynamic play, which was great.
Sorry, one last thing I forgot to say. They took care of the ball extremely well.
That's what I was going to say. Philly only had 9 turnovers.
Yeah.
Only 9 turnovers in the entire game. That's high-quality basketball. That's IQ.
High quality.
Tyrese is a star, and they beat Boston without a strong game from PG, which I think speaks volumes.
PG's
Jaylen Brown, for
star,
all the
probably.
credit I give him, I think one of the main issues the Celtics had is that he didn't give the game back. I think in the third quarter, Jason Tatum overall had a strong game in aggregate, right? 35 points.
Yeah.
I think he didn't have it going in the third quarter. Jaylen Brown did his job. He went off. He had like a 14-point solo run in the third quarter, but then he did not give the game back. And he kept trying to go in the fourth quarter, and he went cold. And the Celtics offense stalled, and that gave the Sixers the run they needed to get up. So I think that's it's two sides of the coin, right? Kyrie might have waited too late to take the game. Jaylen Brown didn't give the game back in time.
He waited too
right?
long.
Yes. So that's all I just wanted to point out in terms of the specific teams in the game. Let's get back to what we're talking about, quality of the game. One of the biggest things that I think contributed, to the quality of this game, very little whistle.
Thank you. And we got to talk about that more.
Very
we gotta talk about the
little
referee.
whistle. This was a physical game. They allowed the trap, but that's the thing. I think when you're doing trap, I think the officiating responds to the game. If we're doing one-on-one coverage and guys are shooting 3-pointers, we're going to protect the shooter. We're going to protect the shooter. We're not going to let you beat him up. But when you're trapping and basketball dictates that, the defense is forcing you to get rid of the ball or make a physical play, they're going to allow the teams to be physical. They let this game be very physical, and I think that was part of why it was so good. Dre, talk to me about what you saw in terms of quality of the product, physicality, trapping on defense, offenses stars having to actually be stars on offense, not just making open shots.
Well, I mean, look at all of Tyrese Maxey's buckets. Almost none of them came off of open shots. It was a lot of him piercing through the penetration, getting in, and being able to finish for either not necessarily. Hold on. Not necessarily only that. But he's finishing in the paint a lot. That goes to the credit of Joel Embiid, but it becomes a more physical game that way. You're really breaking through. And when you're having that style of offense, there was a lot of Joel Embiid buckets that came from kickouts from that kind of play style. So being able to be more physical and force your way in, number one, it creates a more exciting game. Number two, we saw a lot on the other side. We're talking about Jaylen Brown. There was this wild layup he put up where he was basically like flopping.
Oh, that was wild. That was
flopped like midair, but it still went in. And it's like, oh, that's exciting. I want to see you guys get hit. I don't want to see what we were saying.
Yeah.
Get in there. Go do something. So it
violence, yes.
Violence. He didn't even actually get hit. He was anticipating contact, and when he jumped and the contact didn't come, he was like, "Oh, no one's gonna hit me," and then just shot the floater.
Right. So it was definitely probably one of the more physical games of the day, actually, and which obviously creates a. I'm excited to watch it. I feel like other people were excited to watch it. And I think obviously the trap style obviously helps in terms of refereeing, because this is something we actually didn't talk about earlier when it comes to shooters also. There was something about the Knicks game that really pissed me off, and Alan and I spoke about it, where Wemby was going for his 45th point, and there was a foul that occurred, and they gave it, and they erased his point. And since then, he couldn't get into rhythm.
Man. Oh, that was an automatic bucket in 2009.
Yes. And it killed the momentum. It killed the momentum
of the game. Yeah.
And honestly, the Knicks played incredibly well, but like if it wasn't for the refs doing that, I don't know that we pull away. I'm not gonna lie to
you. So my thing with that was like, it wasn't even like it wasn't the end of a game situation where they need to figure out if this point went in or not. Like they could have made that call like on the fly and kept the game going.
Right.
But they stopped the game and it halted the game in real lifetime, like 5-6 minutes. And Wemby did not. I don't think Wemby scored after that. Actually,
It was a wrap.
It was a wrap, but like Wemby was in the midst of going on. It was him, and I don't know if it was Mikal Bridges or like everybody else on this. Like it was the both teams were going back and forth. Is my point. Like it was in the midst of a back and forth that happened. The game stops for 5-6 minutes for a lifetime, and the game's just not the same after that. And it was just exciting back and forth basketball, and it was fun to watch. and all the momentum just got shot. Was just sucked out the room.
Gone. Sucked out of the room completely.
And
I like what the WNBA does, which like
What's
if it's not a challenge, but it's a play that they need to review, they make a call on the floor and they review it at the next timeout.
the NBA used to do that. I remember that used to be a thing. I don't know when it changed, but they used to do that.
Like
but even then, like
you used to come back from the break and they'd be like, over the break, the refs reviewed it, and actually that shit doesn't count. Like,
Right.
But I guess for this shot specifically, that would have been hard because it was an and one foul. So it would have been weird if they just retroactively took it away. But I just don't think it is needed to be reviewed. They keep the call on the floor as it was.
You took someone out, you stole the momentum away, and this has been a big problem that refs have been criticized.
Let the Knicks challenge it. I feel like with the challenge, I liked when they put more replay in because there were like big calls that were getting called wrong, and like mandating the refs to review it was good because like make it right. They're gonna make this huge call. But now that the teams can challenge, I feel like that should remove all the review obligations off the ref. You can challenge it if you don't like the call. Challenge it, but we're gonna keep playing. If you want to stop the game and challenge it, call a timeout and challenge it.
But what happens is these refs,
otherwise, we're not reviewing this until timeout.
What happens is these refs, and people have talked about it so much. There are ejections happening that are completely unnecessary. There are stoppages in play that happen that suck away the momentum. Pause. And there's just so much.
Christ,
it's just so much that we don't attribute to the refs. The refs have been a bad part of this game for the better part of 5 years now. And we need to really do a deep dive evaluation of them. NBA, investigate your refs. No,
you know what? They don't.
We got some Donaghy's in the NBA.
Someone made this point on Twitter, and I agree. The refs don't contribute to the entertainment anymore.
No,
and they used to. They used to protect the game. And play, and you used to hear it mic'd up. Sometimes the players would get mad about it, but at the end of the day, it worked. Like sometimes the ref would come over and be like, "Hey, like so and so, like it was the flow of the game. I had to let that one go." And Allen Iverson would be like, "Man, I don't care about the flow of the game." And he'd be like, sure, you can be mad about that, but like I liked refs having that in mind. Like, yes, ref the game, but part of being the steward of the game is making it a clean, smooth game, right? Like,
you know what the problem is? The refs are operating.
I miss emphatic charge block calls. I miss emphatic and one calls.
Listen,
that would tell you the refs were invested in the game.
When
they would make a crazy and one call and point at the guy on the ground, like that was a part of the game. Like
point at the guy on the ground is crazy, but that used to happen.
These refs, man. Just like a lot of execs and front office guys are really accountants that don't know the game of basketball. I wonder how many refs are just referees that don't actually know the game of basketball. I truly wonder.
Listen, the problem is the refs are operating like the ops. That's the problem.
Oh,
they operated. I'm not gonna.
You call them 5-0. Hold on.
I'm not gonna get political, but like they act like we're here to punish you.
We're here to police your neighborhoods.
No, they are here
to police your neighborhoods.
But you know why? That's because there's so much manipulation of the game happening now. And so now the refs, in protecting the game, they're almost like we have to protect the game for the fans from the players. Yeah, like the players are the ones manipulating the game and like taking away from the style and disservicing the fans, and we have to not allow them to do that.
Yes, which is why they punish passion so much. Which is why some of these refs are too sensitive. Which is why all of that's going on. Listen.
There's a lack of respect. I'm telling you, there's a broader lack of respect issue. There's a broader lack of respect issue in this league beyond just the players I've identified. I think there's a lot of quote unquote stars and superstars in the game who these refs don't respect. They don't respect them. Luka has negative respect actually. From the negative respect. He's actively disrespected by the refs all the time.
I think they don't. I think they just disrespect the game. It's not the players. I think
I think they think they're protecting the game, and I think they don't respect the way these players approach the game.
The players are the whole.
Yes, I think they don't respect the way a lot of these players are approaching the game, and they feel like they're the last bastion of preserving the purity of the game.
Which is there was more of a camaraderie between the refs and the players, man. Back in
I
the day.
agree. There was because the refs used to have the utmost respect for the players, and they would protect the game for the players. Like, I gotta let this flow,
I think they
even
protected
if
it
the
for the
rules say
fans.
maybe I should call this here because I
No.
respect what they got going on in this game. I'm letting that bump go.
I think it's more about the fans. They're trying to protect the game for the fans back in the day. Right now,
No, I think it's the opposite. I think their mindset right now is that they think the fans are fed up with the foul baiting and the complaining and the style of play, and their mindset is we're not going to let players get away with this and manipulate the game. Whereas I think before the refs used
That's
to
a
be on the side of the players and say, "Hey, our job is to let these players play." So whatever the rules say, whatever the league is, whatever, we got to protect the flow and the appearance of this game and let the game look good.
but the refs, okay, there has been a conscious effort, an intentional effort to bring back physicality into the game. We're getting more 2010s-ish physicality recently the past 2 years, right? But these refs are still making some calls where it's like eyebrow raising.
Because think about what the mantra was in the era of rule changes. What do they call it? Respect for the game rules.
Yeah.
Why would you title it that? That tells me something about what the league front office thinks of these players. If they're going to call the new rules respect for the game, that means you're telling me that you believe there's a respect for the game problem amongst these players. They think that these players are disrespecting the game. So if the ref's mindset is always protect the game, if the players are looked as ops to the game, then that makes the players and refs oppositional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I completely agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
So now who do we ask to correct themselves? Are we looking at the players and asking them, hey, you need to get right? Or are we saying, hey, refs, it's a different day. Y'all need to respect the way these players play?
No, I think I honestly,
I think it starts with the refs, and then if the players don't adjust themselves in response, then we look at the players.
But a lot of fans are saying that they're tired. They don't like the way a lot of these players play. A lot of guys don't like Trae Young's style. A lot of guys don't like, and it started with Harden. A lot of guys didn't like that Harden shit. A lot of guys, they don't like Joel Embiid shooting 15 free throws a game. They don't like Luka complaining for every single foul every single time down the court.
it really started with LeBron.
But then the same guys
It
also
did all that flopping, all that. Let's talk about it because now you're gonna get my old bag. Anyone that knows me from back in the day knows that I used to destroy LeBron James on Facebook. I was quasi Facebook famous. I swear to God. If anyone is out there that sees this clip that knows me for real from the era of 2009 to 2014,
this is so funny.
I was quasi Facebook famous, like on NBA Facebook.
Because
I used to go off on Bron. Crazy engagement before we even was tracking engagement. Crazy engagement.
Kid going at LeBron.
You were doing viral.
Bro, I was getting crazy engagement going at LeBron, bro.
Nah, you gotta
because that man was the king of flop. He was manipulating the game.
Flop's crazy. Listen,
Superstars didn't flop until LeBron.
We gotta admit a lot.
That's not true. He was just egregious with his flop.
There's
the
a lot
old
of
flop, the old superstar flop used to be I really did get fouled, and I'm flopping to signal to the ref, hey, he's fouling me. LeBron started doing that when he didn't actually get fouled.
Right. But he was the first superstar to do it. Before that, it was role players.
And so now refs don't trust players. The refs don't trust the players anymore.
Remember that when he looked like he broke his damn neck and he was like, "Oh my god!" and no one like they played it back.
He was on the heat.
Man,
no one touched him. Yeah.
The day the NBA league office started having to fine players for flopping, I think that was the day respect was lost.
Yeah.
Because think about that. We have to now
really
review the gameplay, and we're not penalizing you because you are disrespecting the game and manipulating it. Yeah. That from that day forward, the trust was gone. And it became the refs now have to police this game.
I do think
a lot. We can celebrate a lot about LeBron, but there's a lot of negativity that comes along with his leadership that we don't talk about. We sweep it under the rug.
Pull up my statuses. That's what it used to be called, right?
Sweep it under the rug, man.
Pull up 5 years of my statuses, bro.
Arrow, before you join this podcast,
I deleted a lot of them because of my current profession, but a lot of them are still there.
Arrow, before you join this podcast, I was the residential LeBron hater for a long time. Alan Paul, y'all remember this?
That's a fact.
Y'all
I
remember
couldn't
That's
hate
a
him
fact.
after 2016 anymore because then I was like, you just be a hater. He was too good of a
Yeah,
man. He
yeah.
became
That's
too
where
good
I
of a
came in.
man. I had to support his brand and him as a man. I had to put my
Yo, this sounds
basketball.
crazy.
I had to put my basketball pettiness aside
This
because
was his plan the whole time. You're not the only one.
and it was smart. It was
It
smart.
happened to a lot of people.
Him as a man and a brand, I could no longer stand against. And
Yeah.
in my
KD?
values, in my societal values, I couldn't.
KD going to the Warriors low-key helps LeBron's brand.
A lot.
No, I just mean off the court. Off the court, he began to represent something bigger than basketball and more
bigger than
important.
basketball.
I had to stand behind that in the things that I believe in as a black man. Like
Yeah, true, but
I could just be hating on little basketball grievances anymore. Like
you could love him as a man and hate him as a player. I did it for you.
no, I can't. I'm incapable of doing that.
Nah, I can do that.
Salute my king.
I can do that.
Salute my king, pouring honey on my goat.
Yo!
What?
Hey! Yo.
What did you just say? What did you just say?
Hey, have y'all seen those comments on Instagram?
Hell
you guys
yeah.
be going crazy, man.
What?
Those comments about LeBron, my king, my gold,
Yeah.
my
Oh my
sunshine.
god.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Nah, man, that man put the league on his back. That man built a school.
That's
Like,
a fact.
I
So
can't.
did he though?
No, he didn't.
What?
What was
He
it?
had a
Oh,
little
it was a
charter.
charter school.
He
It
had a
was
little charter. It's
Yeah.
very different.
It was
LeBron
very
James
different.
built a public school.
Yeah,
Very
LeBron built
different.
a school.
True.
He built a public school. Very
That's
different.
amazing.
True. Honestly, I think the biggest issue with the refs though is that
And bleep that out.
Nah.
And
It's out
bleep-
there. It's
bleep
out
that
there.
out. Why would you say that on our airways? Why would you?
But no. I think the biggest issue though is sometimes these refs.
There's no water in that glass. Put it down.
I think the biggest issue with these refs.
Yo, don't call me out, bro. I'm trying to shoot.
I think the biggest issue with some of these
Something that come out.
is that
Hey,
Yo.
hey,
let's end the
hey.
podcast, man. Let's end the podcast, man.
No. There's another game. The
The-
best game of the day to talk about. The
Oh,
best
you
game
can't
of the
forget that one.
entire
Can't forget
night.
that one. Can't forget
I
that
don't know
one.
about that.